There's no such thing as pure freedom in this world. Even the wind cannot blow on forever.
Yeah! Skyward! Scatter! Yeah! Skyward! Scatter! Investing too much emotion puts you at risk of doing something irrational. Yeah! Scatter!
Meow. Oh, it's you. 1 second. Now activating chat mode. You made me jump there. I thought they'd finally caught me. Well, my heart rate did. Jumped up a little, I mean. Objectively speaking, the trouble was entirely of my own. Half an hour ago, I was at Hotel de Boer for a drinks reception. It was to celebrate the successful opening of a show, but it was draining my energy. So, I waited for the right moment, then snuck away so I could switch to standby mode. Probably because I'm playing the lead role in the show? Is that so surprising? I'm always getting invitations to do solo performances. I just usually get Linny to... We took all the kids from the House of the Hearth out to see a film, and after it finished, they all started clamoring for me to try out acting for some reason. Anyway, it just so happened that a director called Mary had sent me an invitation right around then. I'll spare you the details, but yep, you nailed it. I'm playing the role of a puppet. In fact, the show's called The Lost Puppet, and it's a masked mime show. So I don't have to do any facial expressions or say any lines. Literally just a series of physical movements. The director says it's a very avant-garde art form. Art is not comprehended by the mind, but felt in the heart. At least, that's what the director says. Anyway, if nothing else, at the drinks reception, everyone was crowding around me, saying, "Triumphant character portrayal, faithful adaptation of the original," but Being the center of attention is draining. So the moment they left me to go harass the director instead, the other thing is, some weird things happened while I was on the stage. Oh, sorry, Bonnie. I didn't mean to leave you. No, we just met. We bumped into each other right after I slipped away. Well, it'd be kind of difficult for us to communicate otherwise. Besides, I think she's taken a... Yeah, that's right. Good kitty. We'll go find your owner soon, I promise. Nope. She's wearing a collar, and for the most part, she's pretty well groomed. Her stomach's been growling a lot. I guess she must have been missing for a few days now. As much as I'd love to hang out with her for a while, but the reception... I should probably show my face there again at some point. Well, I just find it exhausting, thinking through all the different ramifications of different choices and so on. That's more Lenny's area than mine. So, unless it's something really important, I usually just leave the decision-making to him. It's fine. He got Fremine to make me a little something for just this situation. Poof! A phaetometer. It looks pretty over the top, I know, but it's essentially just a box of cards. He kept the design. The way it works is, I pick a card at random, then look at the number on the card. Well, for example, if the number on the card is 5 or higher, I just have to believe in the bond between me and my cards, and my fate will reveal itself to me in numerical form. At least, that's what Lenny said. Anyway, I guess I'll give you a demonstration. I didn't like that. Was I using it wrong? Maybe if I just... Clearly, there's some design flaws to iron out. I'll have to let Fremine know. Let's see... Which card did I get? 4. Well, the cards fell on the ground though, so I don't think it counts as fate. If you want to get the right answer, you have to let fate decide. Also something Lenny said. So, to put it another way, if picking a card up off the ground is how to not leave it to fate, then that means it must be the wrong answer. Or... why don't you pick a card? Since I ran into you here, that means... our fates are, like, interfering with each other. Thank you. This one is final, I promise. Here, take the fatometer. If it's 5 or above, that means fate successfully changed. Anything lower than 5 is a fail. Also, if you have your own thoughts about what I should do, feel free to share it. Now that I've got a good problem solver here to help, I don't need to run every little thing. Back to the drinks reception. Nope, I said it was your decision. I'm not gonna waste any more energy dragging my feet. Besides, the drinks reception is technically part of the job as an official publicity event. So, if I might get sued for breach of contract, and that would— Oh, one other thing. Do you want to come with me? If you're free, I mean. Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Skyward! Scatter! There you are, Lynette! Where did you disappear to? Leone and I have been looking everywhere for—
I found her outside. Do either of you—
I don't think so. Could belong—
Fair enough. It was—
So sorry we couldn't help you, Lynette.
Don't worry. We'll ask around for you. Leone's—
Maybe you could leave her with us. We'll take her to the reception desk and see if they know anything. And if not—
Sure. I would help, but I'm a little
It's no trouble at all. We're happy.
Also, if it's no trouble, I mean—
Leone! You can't spring that on her now. One last thing, Lynette. Director Mary is looking for you. We'll take the cat to the front desk now. See you later.
I'm not usually required at these kinds of events, so I don't even have an event mode. Alright.
Spectacular choreography, a masterpiece of mise en scène, and the performance, oh my, groundbreaking, dripping with, je ne sais quoi. My congratulations on another magnificent show, sir.
Yes, I, for one, was particularly captivated by the clearly allegorical narrative undertones. The Lost Puppet shines a spotlight on the impact of technological advances in our modern society, particularly as they relate to such a pioneering work, so far ahead of its time. A tour de force of...
I can already see the headlines of tomorrow's newspapers. They will certainly be singing your praise, Direct.
But it was a group effort, of course. To convey emotions in a silent show with no facial expressions, the entire cast had to go above.
Speaking of the cast, Jillian, another strong performance from you in Director Mariu's latest show, as of course we've all come to expect from your numerous successful collaborations to date.
That's quite an overstatement. I've only ever played supporting roles.
On that point, you stated a few months ago in an interview that you were looking to secure a leading role in your next show. What led you—
We had a discussion about this, and while Lynette hadn't previously performed in an acting role, we were blown away by her talent. Quite simply, this was the role
Exactly. I was honored to share the stage with her. Lynette worked extremely hard in all of the rehearsals, and she's an incredibly talented actress.
Oh, Lynette's back!
Hey, Lynette, where have you been?
Were you in standby mode? Some reports say you switched to that state to recharge after a show.
Ah, method acting, of course. Such a compelling portrayal of a mechanical puppet could only be achieved by an actor who lives and breathes their role even while off.
Those seemingly stilted movements were in fact an inspired portrayal of the character. The ostensibly bad acting, in reality,
Oh, I went outside and there was this cat there, so I played with the cat.
A cat? We've long heard that you are a kind soul, as well as an incredible...
This show looks on track to break box office records for avant-garde theater. Lynette, any words for the fans?
Not really, no.
I believe Lynette is trying to say that the act of performance itself is the actor's
Oh, I see. Lynette.
Right, exactly.
But don't you want the fans to know how you're feeling right now? After the hugely successful opening of your first ever
That's true.
I'm sure the fans would love to learn a bit more about you, too.
How interesting.
Lynette, how do you find acting compares with performing in a magic show?
What does the future hold for you, Lynette?
Yeah, it's just... Turns out I can't cope with this stuff either. It's a power-saving mode for participating in conversation at tea party. But at a tea party, I'm not normally subjected to a constant stream of questions. The energy consumption of that interview just now was 3 times as much as the average tea party. I think I'd rather...
Lynette? Director Mariu would like you to join the group photo to commemorate this. It's just the members of the troupe, along with Maloney and Corentan.
Alright then.
3, 2, 1, smile.
My thanks to each and every one of you here for your help in making The Lost Puppet a success. The group photo is already... You can collect your copy from the first floor after the drinks reception concludes. May it serve as a reminder of this...
Mariu! Get over here. Let's have another drink. There's a few things I need...
I thought the group photo was the final hurdle. Well, at least there's no more people hounding me with questions.
Yeah! Skyward! Scatter!
Hotel de Bour's Ile Flottante is as wonderfully sweet as ever.
Traveler? Lynette? Oh, wait, hold on. What do you mean, managed to get an invite? I'm an expert in the dramatic arts. Of course I was invited. Naturally, people wanted to hear my comments on the emerging art form that is the masked mime show. Remarkable, and a very worthwhile artistic endeavor. Exploring a character with no lines or your performance was beyond anything I could have imagined, Lynette. Clearly, this was a... Hmm?
No, it's nothing.
Oh, basically, I think I'd give it a positive review overall. Just not as gushing as the crowd down.
So, you thought they were pretty...
In fairness, it's normal to bring along some vocal supporters for publicity when a new show opens. Then again, I'm no specialist in avant-garde theater. Maybe I'm just not well acquainted with their review criteria. Or maybe it's because I came to the show with some preconceived expectations.
What original draft?
Oh? He didn't show it to you? It must have been a few months ago. He came to me to get some advice from an experience. I had a lot on my plate at the time, so I had to turn him down. I only skimmed a few sections, but they seemed quite different from the final version. I don't know. The protagonist just seemed more complex, I guess, especially in the last two scenes. Still a mechanical puppet on the outside, of course, but she seemed to have...
Emotional depth?
Oh, I'm just thinking aloud here. Don't take it to heart. Besides, a script and a play are two very different beasts. There are so many fine details to consider when turning a story into a stage production. More than most people could imagine, especially with a novel art form like a masked mime show. I'm sure Mary had his reason. Change of topic. I see you've escaped the crowds to seek refuge on the second floor. Fame can be overwhelming at first, can't it? Perhaps you'd benefit...
No thanks, I'm good. Pretty sure this will be my...
Hey, at least let me finish. I have top tips on dealing with belligerent reporters. Slipping away to hunt down Snap.
Tell me everything.
First, take a seat, mon ami. We must partake of Hotel de Bour's fine desserts as we talk, lest they go to...
That was very educational. I expect most of the people downstairs have left by now. Time to grab my copy of the group photo and get home.
Yeah! Scatter!
What did you want?
Yeah!
If you want tea or water, just help yourselves. Forget about me. This is about what you...
The photo must be in this envelope right here. If it wasn't for you, I don't know how I would have standby moded my way through the last few hours. It's fine. While I was on stage, there was a moment when I felt like someone was looking at me. It was only... I got a vague sense of it again during the reception. Normally, I'm used to lurking in the shadows on the stage and spying on other people. So, it was strange, feeling like I was the one being spied on this time. Or someone just took a disliking to me for no real reason. Sometimes you can like one person and dislike another for equally pointless reasons. Anyway, it was just a momentary stink. Okay, problem solved. I'm gonna You have destroyed this work of art. Step down from the leading... I don't think we're gonna find any more clues here. Yes, let's. Whatever destroyed means, it could have something to do with the original script that Farina mentioned.
I can't believe how well the whole Lynette's debut acting role thing worked out. Even the avant-garde box office is lapping it up.
How could I ever have doubted you? If you hadn't stuck to your guns and kept sending those invitations, this
See? I told you. All the times she'd refused in the past were all the more reason to keep inviting her. Can you imagine if you'd gone with Jillian? You'd have been lucky to get half the ticket sales you've ended up with.
True. Well, Jillian still needs...
Do you have a moment, Director Mario?
Oh!
If it isn't the star of the show. We were just talking about... I'm guessing you're here to discuss the show with the director? Oh, you're a talented and hard... I'll leave you artists to discuss your work in peace. Mariu, make sure you give your star performer and her friend your full attention.
I certainly will. Lynette carries the fortunes of our entire troupe.
Mr. Maloney, an investor...
So, what can I do for the two of you? I'm afraid I'll have to dash soon as I'm meeting some friends.
We heard that the original script for The Lost Puppet was quite different from the final show.
Oh, well, this is a surprise. I didn't think you'd be interested in... It's not uncommon for scripts to undergo major changes as they're being brought to the stage. But I'm afraid there's not a mechanical puppet with a bumbling body but a sensitive soul. There's no doubt about it. You are the protagonist, and the protagonist is you. The success of one is the success of the other, and that's what...
Sorry, you've lost me.
All right, then. Delving deep in the search of... You shouldn't give your attention to early drafts of the script, Lynette. All it would do... The current script is the final version because it is the best version, and your performance best brings that script to life. Why, if it weren't for you, I doubt any audience would give our show the time of day. What letter? Destroyed this work?
Well, Director Mario, any idea?
No. Who on earth would write such nonsense? Absolutely not. Without Lynette, this show would be over. Everyone's hard work would go to waste. No, there's no way that this is someone from the troupe.
Yeah, maybe Jillian could fill in for me for...
What? No way out of the question. The protagonist has to be played by Lynette. Jillian can't... She's just... Huh? I've got it. It's a competitor. Yes, this letter must... You can't lie low. That's just what they want you to do. The moment you step back from performing, they'll put their rumor mill into overdrive and drag us through them.
A competitor? Really?
Definitely. Those lowlifes. Slander and libel are all their specialties. They drown out the truth with a flood of misinformation, and they stop at nothing once they get riled up. There's so many of them out there. Fame always seems to attract haters. No matter what you do to try and keep everyone happy, stay strong, Lynette, and keep up the good work on stage. I have to go and meet my friends from the newspapers now, but rest assured...
So, a competitor, huh? I kinda doubt it. We've dealt with those types before. Usually their goal is to steal our venue for their own show, or to cover up a scandal by plan. But at the moment, I don't think anyone's... Besides, when I felt that evil stare, I'm pretty sure it was coming from someone. I'm actually more concerned about Mariyu. When I mentioned Jillian, especially since Maloney mentioned that the initial plan was to cast Jillian as the lead. Sounds like there was an original protagonist as well as an original script. Yep. She told me she...
Quit following me. The wind rises. Squall and fury.
Got her!
Lynette? What are you doing? You're not welcome here.
I've been to the Fleuve Sandra plenty of times before. This is the first I'm hearing.
Things are different around here. You might be used to a crowd of bootlicking morons fawning over you wherever you go, but not down here.
Bootlicking morons? I don't know. I've never met this kid before.
Gina, stop that! Go home now!
Jillian?
No buts. How many times do I have to tell you? That had nothing to do with Lynette. If you don't leave right now, I swear I'll never invite you to one of—
Jillian? Just because Lady Farina speaks highly of you?
I'm so sorry. Gina's always been a strong-willed child.
It's okay. I have younger siblings too, so I get it. She's in her rebellious phase, huh? If you let angsty kids get you riled up, they'll drain all your energy. So don't worry, I won't let it get to me.
Well, the situation's a little different in this case, but still, thank you. So, what brings you to the Fleuve Sandra?
We heard about it from Maloney. He said you were originally—
Maloney, huh? I'm sorry. I never mentioned it because Director Mariyu was very clear that I mustn't let any of it affect you. What's this? I don't know,
Don't be scared, Jillian. Just tell us what—
Okay. It's true. I was originally cast as the— I've worked with Director Mariyu many times before, but only in minor roles. The audiences and critics, Never had. A few months ago, Mary Yu started working on a new show, so I plucked up the courage to ask him if I could. He was hesitant, but he agreed to let me try for the part. We did a few rehearsals, everything seemed to.
There's been a change of
Lynette? But she always turns these things down, doesn't she?
And that's why we cannot afford to waste this opportunity. Jillian, I understand how you must be feeling. But, Malone, next time, the lead will be yours.
I was incredibly disappointed at first, but I also know full well that I don't have Lynette's star power. Without Lynette, how could we ever convince people to pay money to go and see a masked mime show? And if the show was a flop with me in the leading role, how would I answer to the director and the rest of the... Then, I got to meet you on stage and found that you're really down to earth. In a way that not many... Whatever disappointment I had left at that point, I certainly...
By wasn't bad, you mean it wasn't great either. So, I'm guessing Mariu changed the script to simplify the protagonist, make her a dumbed-down version of the mechanical puppet that I could actually play.
He did make some changes to the script, yes. Jaik, one of the other actors. He likes to collect Dr. Mariu's old drafts because he hopes to be a director himself one day. He also lives nearby. I can arrange for you to meet him at the tavern.
Makes sense. I always see him talking to Mariu.
Yeah! Skyward! Scatter!
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Jillian brought me up to speed on the situation. I'm here to help however I can. Here, this is the script you're after. That's always the way with pen and paper drafts. Even the final script is... There should be a cleaner copy of the original script in here somewhere. Sorry, it's all a bit mixed up. I just grabbed the...
No problem. Now activating search.
Maybe he's been quietly struggling with something.
Zip on up!
The protagonist returns to the ruins where she began and performs a dance in honor of her deceased companions. She dances until her joints have rusted stiff and mechanical parts are falling from her body. Yep. That's not something a novice could hope to pull off after just a few months of rehearsals. Frankly, I think that the original script is much better, and the original lead is the best fit. Jillian, shall I go tell Mariu to put you back in the leading role?
Huh?
What? Are you serious? But the next show is at the Opera Epic.
But not such a rare one for me, though, right?
That's different. This isn't you as part of a magic duo. It's a chance to star as the main character in a show. You'll reach whole new heights of...
Fame in small doses, but if you play the lead, the fame will be yours, and I get to be...
It'll never work. There's no way Director Mariu... The set for Act 4 would need to change, as would all the marketing materials. And that would mean asking Maloney for a lot more Mora. Changing actors at the last minute is just too risky. If anything went... Plus, Maloney's friends have already published a ton of articles saying how this is the role that Lynette was born to play. No one else can play the protagonist now. If Lynette quit the show and I took her place... If Lynette left, they'd sooner stop the whole show than let me take her place.
Stop the whole show? But all the people in the troupe, months and months of everyone's hard work would all be for nothing.
You do? What is it? That's a bold plan. I'm in.
You know, it's a little crazy.
No way. It's not worth taking such a huge risk. Just...
Jillian, you said before, whatever disappointment I had left, I wasn't about to take out on you. In other words, that disappointment is still there, but you've... Be honest. You still hope to play the...
But the thought of putting so many people...
You think they'd be put out? Not...
Jillian, you were more dedicated than anyone during the rehearsals for the original script. We also... And I think you know that unless we decide to make a stand here, the path we're on is only going to take us further and further. So take it from me. You would not be putting us out. Not one bit.
You guys... Okay.
Yes! I knew you'd come around. All right, I'll let the rest of...
Wonderful. This solves...
Wait, but what about the threat letter?
As long as we stick to the plan, I'll give up the lead role, so it won't matter anymore, right?
But surely you want to know who it's from. If they're out there and no one's keeping an eye on them.
I doubt they will. It's supposed to be a threat, but they didn't even say what would happen if I don't meet their demands. Plus, the handwriting is kinda child. Who knows? Maybe it was just a fan of yours having a
A fan?
Maybe there's someone out there who really appreciates your talent. Even in the supporting roles. It's getting late. Come on. Sorry for manhandling you. You looked like you were seconds away from figuring out who sent the letter, so I had to act fast. Nothing gets past you.
Just because a lady for—
I'm so sorry. Gina's always been a strong-willed child. That's why I never let her
I guess she must have snuck into the drinks reception and overheard. She idolizes Julian, both as an older sister and an actress. And she watched as the dream role Jillian had been waiting to make matters worse. All the critics were hailing this amateur as a perfect fit for the role. And even Fontaine's former biggest star was praising her abilities. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Like I said, getting angry at angsty teenagers is draining. If it was my younger brother or sister and they found out I'd been treated unfairly or had an opportunity stolen from me, I was in Jillian's position once. Back when Linny and I were starting out, before we got famous, we just had to take, so I can understand Gina's frustration. Still, she could definitely use some pro tips on how to write a threat letter. No, the way she looks at me is indignant, frustrated, but not malicious. Plus, she didn't even try to hide how she— Whoever was giving me that evil stare was backstage. Blending into the crowd at a drinks reception is one thing, but trying to blend in backstage, where everyone's on high— we'll find out who it is before too long. In 2 days' time, at the next— On that note, guess I'll see you at the—
Finally on the right path.
The wind rises.
Yeah! Skyward! Scatter! Yeah! Scatter! Yeah!
Oh, you're here! Lynette and Jillian are busy getting ready, so please come with me.
That puppet in the middle, is that Lynette? She's so pretty.
It's starting. Keep your voice down.
Wow, I thought it would be hard to follow, but in the end, it was actually very clear.
Even though her face was expressionless and she didn't speak the whole time, I felt like I could.
Director Mariu really is a master of his craft. And so is the actress in the lead.
I have a friend who saw the show on the opening day. They thought the critics overstated how good it was, but I gotta say, the protagonist is incredible.
I can't believe it's only been a few days since the last show. Lynette's improved so much. Just wow! I'm speechless. Words simply cannot do justice to the sheer excellence we witnessed from Lynette on stage today.
Your penchant for the hyperbolic strikes again, Almery. Clearly, you weren't at a loss for words when you were writing your article. I saw you hand it to the journalist. Trying to get your critique into the papers the moment the show is over, are you?
Well, you know how it is. The early critics get all the
What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Ah, the first half was a huge success. Even I could tell the act.
My apologies, Mr. Maloney. Please excuse me for a...
Oh, very well. Hey, while you're at it, this might be a good time.
Are you guys sure this is gonna work? What if Director Mariu pushes back? We're already halfway there. We can't back out now.
Oh, what is this plan that you're so
Director Mariu,
Korantan and Armory have both finished their articles. I went to greet them as a mere formality, but you seem to have availed yourselves of my... Was that really Lynette playing the lead role?
Ta-da!
Director Mariu, I was the one playing the lead role just...
I switched costumes and masks with Jillian so that I could be the protagonist's companion and stay out of the limelight.
Lynette, why on earth would you do this?
You know my acting is amateur. The only reason I'm being seen as a pro, let alone a pioneer, is because you have critics supporting the show. If they'd seen me in the leading role during the first half, they wouldn't be expecting anything more. But what happens now that they've seen Jillian in the role? If you force me to play the lead in the second half, they'll be wondering, why is the actress suddenly giving such an underwhelming performance right at the climax of the whole story? These are just some of the questions that will be on everyone's minds during the second half. And those questions will follow them out the doors of the theater after the show ends. There's only one way for you to save your reputation. And that's to keep Jillian as the lead all the way to the end.
Absolutely not. I'd sooner announce that we're having a technical dip. If I keep Jillian as the lead for the second half, what do you think will happen in the curtain call when she takes her mask off? Everyone will see that we've changed acting. What will your fans think? They're only here because of you. And what about all the critics who support you? If we get on the wrong side of them, it'll be the death of the whole show. There'd be tickets to refund, fines to pay for breach of contract. The whole troupe's hard work would go down the drain. Don't you see how much this would cost us? You can't just take a job on a whim, then abandon your responsibility the moment you don't feel like doing it anymore. You're playing games with other people's hopes and dreams.
Director Mariyu, please. You're not
Actually, Jillian, he's half right. I did kind of take this on a whim, but my responsibility here is making sure you get...
And I guess part of that responsibility lies with me, considering I badgered you into accepting the job. Sorry, I'm a little...
Linny? What do you want?
That might be a little tricky, but instead,
What's this?
A draft complaint letter, my contract, your legal fees, reimbursement for the tickets, and an advance on the penalty fee for breach of contract. Mr. Mariyu, I'm stepping down from the leading role, regardless of whether you choose to cancel the rest of today's show.
if you do suffer unforeseen financial losses from this, you're free to seek damages as per the contract. And if you want to file a lawsuit, there's a draft here that you can use if you need it.
What the... I can't put... Of course. All this Mora, it's a pittance to you, isn't it? Look at us. We're huge stars. One minute we want to go on stage. The next we feel like backing out of the contract. But that's okay. We're famous. We can afford it. You don't give a hoot how much this show means to other people. You don't even care that the whole production might have to shut down because of you.
That's not true. I do care. And I'm under no illusion as to how much this show means to you.
Oh, brilliant deduction there. Of course it means a lot to me. This is my show. That's the only...
Really? Then why do your eyes tell a different story? The way you look at me, it's full of contempt. Almost as if I've destroyed your work of art.
What?
A couple days ago, I asked some associates to do some digging for me. I was interested to know who else you invited to play the lead apart from Lynette. Surprise, surprise. Turns out that all the other famous actresses you asked either had prior commit...
And I would have turned you down too, if not for an unlikely set of coincidences.
You didn't send those invitations because you were looking for a better actress than Jillian, but because you're in...
Director Mariyu.
To get Maloney on your side, you chose to make Jillian the understudy, and then look for an opportunity for her to take the lead.
I bet you were torn at first, weren't you? Do you stick to the tried and tested formula? Choose Lynette, use her celebrity to get the critics on your side so that you and your investors...
Or do you choose Jillian, so that you and your longtime collaborator can stage the show of your dreams, the original, unedited version of The Lost Puppet?
Oh, I did.
You mentioned prior success and fame earlier, but you're a well-known director yourself, with countless works to your name. Wouldn't that make you successful too? Or maybe, deep down, none of your current achievements really count as...
Right now, you have an opportunity to send Jillian onto that stage and perform the second half as you always imagined it. Faithful to your original, your work would be displayed for all of Fontaine to see in its true, perfect...
Did you say... perfect?
Or will you act now before Maloney and the critics can protest and make your dream come true on the stage? And Jillian's dream. In fact, the dreams of the whole troupe.
The whole troupe?
Director Mariyu? Actually, most of the money Lenny brought came from us. We all chipped in.
We've worked with you for many years now. Your troupe has been here for you all the way from the empty theaters where we first performed to the opera. We watched as you slowly started down a path you used to despise. The path of powerful connections, drinks receptions, backdoor deals with critics, and collaborations based.
But this is just a temporary measure. I did it for the good of the troupe.
Yes, we know. Back when you started, you had to bite the bullet and do these things. But then what happened? You began to embrace these methods more and more, becoming so reliant on them that every show you put out is overhyped by the media, and every script. Surely you must have noticed what's happening. While we've been performing at bigger and bigger theaters with each show, the applause is getting quieter and quieter each night. And the criticism, Maloney's friends are sycophants. They don't care if the audience is disappointed because the show doesn't live up to their glowing reviews. They praise the things they like and skirt around the things they don't.
Look, I know everyone's using the same promotional tactics, but does that really make it okay?
Well, it's just a stopgap solution.
Next time, huh? Yeah. Next time, you won't use your connections. Next time, you won't pay off the...
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. If you make some money once, you'll want to do it again, then again.
I won't turn my back on my dreams any longer, Director Mariyu. No.
Me neither.
Hi.
Huh. The plot here seems a little different from what the reviews said.
The protagonist wanted to return to the stage, so the puppets replaced all her parts with the latest ones available, built her a grand opera house, and summoned a huge...
And in the end, she forgot herself amidst the applause and cheers of her fellow puppets.
Hey, no spoilers! Huh? Wait, hang on, that's not even what's happening. The set has changed back to the one from the first act.
Walk-ons.
No need to be so nervous, Director Mariyu. We only told you Lynette would be quitting the show to get you to make a decision. We wanted you to believe that this show would have to end after today, no matter what you decided. But in truth, I believe that if we choose our words carefully, there's no reason we can't get Maloney to come around and keep the show going.
You really thought this plan through. But I'm not upset about what's worrying me now isn't how Maloney will react or whether the show will get It's the audience. I've always thought the original script is better, but will it move them like I've always hoped? When Jillian does her curtain call, what if people only came to see the show for Lynette? And because of the reviews, what if they don't really care about the show at all? It feels like I've been hiding inside my safe little castle for too long.
We're right here with you. We'll watch...
Wow. Okay, this ending is much better.
I love how they brought back the set from Act 1 and gave it a whole new meaning. What a fantastic twist.
Time for the curtain call. It's the moment of truth. Will the applause continue after I take off the mask? I could always leave my mask on. No one would ever know.
This is what fame looks like, when it's truly deserved.
Jillian, you were amazing! Syra was tearing up when you did your final solo dance. Well, so are you.
Really? I was so nervous. My legs felt like they turned to jelly.
What looked like an actor unsteady on her feet was in fact a poignant expression of the protagonist's frailty in her last moments. Or...
Hey, Mario! What the heck was that? Why wasn't Lynette playing the lead?
Our articles are already going to press. You better have a good explanation.
It was my...
Hey now, it was all of our...
Hold on. The decision was mine, and mine alone. They had nothing to do with it.
Marry you? So it was you? Well then, I trust you'll have no objection to me pulling the plug on this production.
Director Mariu, Mr. Maloney, what on earth is going on? Why was Lynette not in the lead role? It took a lot of convincing from me for her to accept the role, and I had to turn down some big work opportunities to come and watch her performance today. You have some explaining to do.
Lenny, it was all his idea. Mariu, explain yourself.
Wait, Linny, as a matter of fact, this was a piece of performance art. In this play, the masks and costumes serve to obscure the differences between characters, and by extension, the difference between human and machine. We took that idea to the next level with an actor swap, blurring the lines between one performer and the next. So it's in service of the ambitious artistic goals of the production.
What?
It's similar to deceiving the audience in a magic show. We employed this technique as a means of breaking the fourth wall. It allows the audience to more intuitively understand the cognitive dissonance felt by the protagonist as a machine trying to reconcile the notion of her humanity. The audience's experience mirrors the protagonist.
Hold up! What is this nonsense?
Oh, I see. Well, bravo, Director Mariu. You even had me fooled.
That's probably more because you just don't really understand avant-garde art very well, Lenny.
Maybe so, maybe so. Well, perhaps it went over my head, but I'm sure our experts here saw the whole thing coming a mile away.
You must have worked it out by the end of the first half, surely. Mr. Amory, I just heard that you managed to write your review after just the first 2 acts.
Yes, you're right. Director Mariu and I are old friends. You should have said something. Then I could have played along even better.
Yes, well, to deceive the audience, you must first deceive your closest companions. I have to give credit to Lynette and her experience in performing magic.
Hmm? You mean your show was partly inspired by Lynette's background in magic? Well, in that case, I'll have to plug it to everyone I know.
Unfortunately, I think Mr. Maloney is going to cancel the show.
Cancel the show? Mr. Maloney, is this true?
While I accept that deceiving the audience in the manner you did certainly has artistic merit, this is not a magic show, and we don't want our audience demanding their money back.
A very valid criticism, and one that I humbly accept. If that happens, we're prepared to reimburse and apologize to any audience members who weren't satisfied with the experience. Plus, it looks like Jillian is better than me at delivering the excellence people want to see. I'm sure audiences will be very happy with the show if she's allowed to stay in the leading role.
Maloney, I believe there should still be time to tweak my article. From the look on Lynette's face, I think she's being sincere.
Oh, one other thing. We managed to get a meeting with Lady Farina earlier. All thanks to the Traveler's reputation, of course. Anyway, she agreed to write a review focusing on Jillian's performance and the quality of the show as a whole. And I'm sure today's audience will be discussing her performance too. There's sure to be a variety of opinions.
Oh, I mean, art at its finest, clearly. But I'll have to give it some thought before I decide exactly what to write.
Oh, of course. Always good to put some thought into these things. Especially now, with a growing range of voices out there. I imagine competition for readers becomes more...
Corentan, Amory, let's...
Scatter! Skyward! Yeah! Skyward! Scatter!
Do you think this move needs jazzing up a little? Not jazzing up, per se. I was thinking more like break it down, you know?
Gina? You snuck in? When? I thought...
I'm sorry, Jillian, but...
Thank you both so much. Without the two of you, who knows how much further down that cynical path I would... I always told myself that once I'd made enough Mora, I'd get back to doing what I loved. Just like those critics with their dishonest reviews, I became all about the trappings of success, at the expense of the art itself. You're right. Yes. Anyway, enough about my problems. What are we going to do about the threat letter that Lynette received? I've been looking into it a lot over the past couple of days, but it doesn't seem...
Ah, yes, about that.
Lynette, do you...
Wait, you're...
I'm sorry. Gina insisted on coming to see Lynette.
Lynette, I'm so...
Yeah, me neither.
Wait, but...
Oh, do you mean when we ran into you at the Fleuve Sandra? As I recall, you were only trying to look out for your sister.
Oh. Well, it sounds like Gina knows what she did was wrong. Owning up to your...
I understand that feeling of wanting to stand up for your family when they're being mistreated. Really, I do. But next time, maybe consider a different tactic? Something you can pull off more effectively, and without arousing suspicion.
Got it.
Why do I feel like I'm missing something here?
Hey, here you are. I was wondering where you'd all run off to. Great! Everyone's in one place. That makes this so much easier. What do you think? It's group photo time! Okay, everyone, we all have pretty awkward smiles on our faces in the photo from Hotel de Boer.
Oh, am I really not allowed to force a smile? I'll try.
Lynette, Traveler, come on! You two should be right in the middle. 3, 2, 1, smile!
Thank you both.
That letter?
What?
Gina? So it was.
Director, it's time for Oh, okay. Weird energy here. I think we came at a bad time.
Lynette, Gina must have been worried sick about me. I'm sure even she wouldn't do something so stupid if she was in her right mind. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll make it up to you somehow.
Jillian, no! This is completely my fault, and I'm the one who should have to bear the consequences. I got the—
Well, since I haven't actually suffered any losses, maybe we could just let—
Really?
After all, Gina wouldn't be the first person to ever misjudge me.
True.
In any case, I think we can all agree it was a misunderstanding and nothing—
But still, I was wrong to write that letter. I should own up to my actions. Make it up to you in some—
If that's what you really want, then how about help— The crew could always use an extra hand. Plus, it'll give your older sister a chance to keep an eye—
Thank you, Lynette.
Is it? I'm so much more at home here in the audience. I get to sit on a comfy seat, and I don't have to activate my energy-consuming modes all the time. Mary, you said she's a very promising young actress, and she has natural chemistry with her older sister. In their capable hands, the show doesn't— Phew. Freedom at last. Fame is more trouble than it's worth. I'm happiest when I get to sit in a quiet place, watch them do their thing, and cheer them on. Yep. Exactly like I'm doing now.
I got a new letter from an informant. The situation has changed again.
Skyward! Scatter!
Squall and Fury!
Huh. I didn't like that. So, we're looking for— I think I'll go to the Steambird and see about putting an ad in the paper. You wanna come along? didn't like that. Alright. Then let's see where fate will lead me. Back to the drinks reception. There's 20 cards in total, numbered 1 to 20. So there's only a 1 in 5 chance of drawing less than a 5. I should also mention, this time the cutoff was 5, but I just set that to wherever I feel like. Nope, I said it was your decision. I'm not gonna waste any more energy. Besides, the drinks reception is technically part of the job as an official public. I might get sued for breach of I didn't like that. Alright. So, we're looking for Bonnie's owner? There's 20 cards in total, numbered 1 to 20. So there's only... I should also mention, this time the cutoff was 5, but I just set that to wherever I feel like. To put it in perspective, I said I'd only do the show if I drew a 1. Fate can be pretty sneaky sometimes.
The wind rises.
Skyward! Every stupendous day starts with a steambird.
Oh, hi Lynette. Hi Traveler. What can I help you with? I don't think so.
Yep. If there's no commission to follow up on...
Why, of course. What a kind thing to do.
Well, we've registered you as missing. You can stay at my place until your owner finds you. Also, I just wanted to say... thanks. Well, I should probably head back to the drink. If you've got some time, you should stop by my place tomorrow to see Bonnie. There's a nice cup of tea in it for you. Alright, see you.
Yeah! Skyward! Scatter!
I believe this cat belongs to me.
I already told you, this isn't your cat.
Just take a breather, you two. Oh, you're here. As you can probably see,
This is my friend's cat. He's preoccupied with some important business, so I came to retrieve her in his stead.
No, it's far more likely this cat escaped from the Humane Society. Bonnie?
That's the name I've given her in the meantime. Well, this complicates things.
I told you before. This is my friend's cat. It's normal for her not to trust me.
Listen, I'm the director of the Humane Society, okay? We've got so many strays, dogs, cats, you name it. I'm not even the one feeding them most of the time. You can hardly expect. She just looked somewhat familiar, so I came to. If she turns out to be one of ours, I'll take her back. Simple as that. Even if that's not the case, the Humane Society could still take her in. We're an organization that specializes in rescuing and sheltering stray animals.
The Humane Society. Huh. The name sounds familiar.
Yes, that's the one. Anyway, if it's not too much trouble, could I possibly take a if it turns out I really am mistaken, I suppose that means the cat—
It belongs to my friend.
Go on, Bonnie.
Oh, nope. Looks like I was mistaken. They do look similar, but there's an ever so slight difference in this one's fur color. Deepest apologies, friends. Well, I suppose this means I still have a missing cat to search for. Apologies again for the confusion.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Wait a second.
You lied? I'm afraid I don't—
A liar always has a tell. The look in their eyes, their breathing pattern, the way they hold the—
What are you talking about? The way I see it, you're conflating baseless conjecture with fact.
Normally, when someone is called out, their breathing speeds up as they begin to panic. But your breathing pattern hasn't changed one bit. In fact, it's been strangely calm and measured this entire time. If you're a bad guy, I'm sure you'll take off running the first chance you get. If you're a good guy, the most—
And you're basing this off of—
Intuition. Nothing more.
Intuition. Well, I have to hand it to you, Lynn. You're right. I'm a member of the Guards. The name's Elodie. I'm currently investigating a cross-border smuggling case. This cat here— Bonnie was her name? Well, her owner is one of the prime suspects of our investigation. A couple of days ago, our suspect got wind that we were on his tail and fled. I just so happened to stumble upon your notice in the Steambird. So, I decided to see if he'd come back for her. But it looks like I overestimated him. The impact of this case has been huge. The Marechaussee Phantom, the Guards, and the Special Patrol have all launched investigations. If there was even the slightest chance that he would show himself, a new kind of illegal drug, imitation synth. We confiscated all the synth on the market, but addiction isn't something that goes away overnight. Even without substances on the market, people are still looking for a way to get them, and criminals are all too eager to capitalize on that addiction. That was the impetus for imitation synth. Needless to say, after the original synth debacle, we put several measures into place to prevent similar incidents from occurring. The perpetrators got smart, though, and shifted their sales overseas before those measures could kick in. We only recently got word of the presence of imitation synth overseas. We managed to track down evidence of some early transactions. What we were able to— The Marechaussee Phantom launched an investigation to track down every person in Fontaine capable of producing a drug like that. That's how we learned about Bonnie's owner. He's a researcher at the Fontaine Research Institute.
Lefebvre.
The Marechaussee Phantom found him in Poisson. In addition to the cat, he also had a pendant with him. At first, there wasn't much cause for suspicion. A search of his house didn't reveal much to go off of. It was only later that we realized the coat of arms on his pendant belonged to none other than the Lefebvre family. One of the most infamous. Obviously, this discovery prompted a further investigation into Pierre. At that point, however, we discovered that he'd already fled. Now the guards and the Special Patrol are all searching for him.
That's not possible, actually. The Lefebvre family has been gone.
Exactly. Many years ago, several important members of the family, including the Patriarch, were murdered by an assassin of unknown origin. From that point on, the family is engaged in all manner of crimes. As you can imagine, there's no shortage of people waiting in the wings to take their revenge. And with the family severely weakened, they were able to do just that. Most of the remaining family members, Pierre is one of those very survivors. He's been hiding away in the Fontaine Research Institute all these years. His true identity unbeknownst to all. Until, well, my fellow guards have told me all about how smart and courageous you both are. And I know you possess a strong... There could be a chance that Pierre, or one of his accomplices, might attempt to get close to Bonnie. Now that you've been briefed on the situation, I was hoping you'd help us keep a lookout. If I take Bonnie back to the guards with me, there's no way Pierre will try and come for her. Not even the most daring of criminals would attempt something like that. I have to admit, I'm not holding out too much hope that Pierre will come back for her. But if there's even... well, I've got some other leads to follow up on. If Pierre does appear...
No, it's just... the head of the Lefebvre family. He was the eminent person who kidnapped me all those years. It was at a dinner party. Someone tricked me into boarding the Lefebvre family carriage. Whoever it was, they took me back to their home. But before anything worse could happen, Father intervened. Yep. Father was the one who orchestrated the fall of the Lefebvre family. That's what led Lenny and I to join the House of the Hearth. After all these years, I never thought I'd hear the Lefebvre name again. Don't worry about me. I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I was just thinking about Lenny. He's been acting strange recently. He avoids me for days on end, consumes himself with some secret investigation. Thinking about it now, it's almost like the one I drew from that deck of cards was part of his plan all along. He must have asked Fremine to help him out. In any case, I know he's hiding something from me. He's really pulled out all the... It's very possible. I'm sure he tried to send me away because he was afraid it would bring up some painful... Even after all these years, he still is overprotective. You'll have to help me teach him a lesson if we run into him along the way. Yep. I want to head to the Fontaine Research Institute to learn more information about Pierre. Just let me activate search mode and then we'll head out. Oh no, a little bit of both, perhaps. For the most part, though, I just have the sense that something's not right. Okay, I'll write a letter explaining everything to the crew. Once that's done, we can head out.
Behold! Lynette, you're, not at rehearsal?
You can drop the act, brother. In fact, I don't think either of us will have a need for acting anytime soon. You should know better than to try and keep something from me. You've never been able to do that, even when we were kids.
And that's why I tried to distract you with the masked mime show. But I guess you're just too good.
Care to introduce us to your new assistant?